Would you like a receipt?
Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be my spring tour, and this is peach cobbler mango, and I'm going to show you all the mangoes here in this video that are holding on to fruit, because mango season is around the corner. And then we're going to talk about some other things. I have made a few changes from my last yard tour. There used to be a custard apple here, San Pablo custard apple. Pulled it up, put it in a pot, threw it in the greenhouse, and now it's dead. So I have bananas here, and I think I'm going to focus on just putting more bananas in this area here. So we're going to hop around and talk about a few other things. This is a Oro Negro avocado, tiny little thing, and it grows very slow. From my experience, the avocados I have, they don't grow very fast, at least compared to like mango. These grow much slower, which is pretty good if you don't have a lot of space and you're looking for trees that are going to produce but not get extremely big fast. Avocados are a good choice, as well as mangoes. Certain varieties you'll see in this video here grow very slow, similar to like an Oro Negro. But I am sure that there's probably other avocado varieties that grow much faster, but the ones that I'm going to show you in this video here at my place haven't grown very fast. So we're going to keep bananas in this area here. This is a Thai dwarf mulberry, already produced some fruit, and the birds got to enjoy this. So there's just some leftover remnants of the mulberries. This is a Pickering mango, small little tree, but this thing will produce some mangoes here. So this is one of the mango trees I recommend if you don't have a lot of space. Pickering mango is, from my experience, in my opinion, number one mango to grow if you don't have a lot of space. Excellent tasting fruit. This is a longan that was struggling. Looks like it's starting to get itself together. Looks like spreading its roots, finally getting some good growth. So longan not producing. Dancing tangerine is doing very well, but it flowered, but it didn't set. It set a few fruit, and now the fruit are gone. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the citrus. And I'm noticing the last couple years, citrus is not. They're growing well. They're growing. I mean, the leaves. There's nothing wrong with the leaves. They look healthy, but I don't know if it's a pollinator thing. They're not producing heavy. And you'll see in this video, out of all my citrus trees, there's only one or two that are actually doing something. Here we have another longan, and this one here has some fruit. It had more fruit last year and it was smaller, but we got some fruit here on the longan. Longans grow very easy here in Zone 9B, West Florida. They handle our low temperatures. When we get into the high 20s, the longan can definitely handle the high 20s. This is a key lime, and I actually came out here earlier this morning and found key lime on the ground. So we're going to enjoy that one later. But this one's always loaded with tiny fruit. Very hard to see, but here we go. We got a fruit here. Very easy to grow key limes. We're gonna hop over here. We got two fruit trees here. We have a Kerry star fruit, and I have two varieties of star fruit. I have the Carry and Fuang Tung. And out of the two, so far, Fuang Tung has been the sweetest. But the Carry seems to grow much faster than the Fuang Tung. And that's at least here at this place. Could be the area it's in. This one gets a lot more sun than the other one, so that would definitely help it grow faster. This is Sweetheart Lychee, and we're holding on to a few fruit here. This is the first time this lychee tree has gone this far holding the fruit. Last year it did set some tiny fruit, but immediately dropped them. So very excited about that. Hopefully we'll be able to try a couple fruit off of this one here. Still a very young tree, so we'll see what happens in the future. This is a pink guava. This is the biggest guava out of the two that I have. And this is a pink. I think I got this one from Home Depot. And it's got some flowers. And if you look closely, it is already setting some fruit. The other variety I have, which I'll show you later, is a popular variety, but this one's actually sweeter. And this is just a standard pink that you get at Home Depot. So one thing I want to talk about is drought. So we haven't had rain, and I would say more than 2 weeks now. And this is a Suriname cherry, and it's definitely showing signs. Right next to it is a lemon, no, not lemon, this is a pineapple guava, and you can see the tips. So a lot of things in this area, even the pineapples, they're drying out. Oh, that's sad. That's a miracle fruit. I mean, this whole area is dried out because we haven't had any rain. If you look down, look at how dry this is. I don't have irrigation at this property, so these trees are on their own. If I don't come around with the water hose, they're not getting water unless it rains. So I haven't been able to do that. I did make an exception for the mangoes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but for the most part, these trees have not seen water for a while, and it's definitely showing signs. The papaya here is showing signs, starting to lose its leaves. Suriname, I mean, yeah, I might have to just take some time maybe later today and just go around and give them a little bit of water. This is Cycropia, also known as snake fruit, gummy worm fruit, and it's starting to produce some fruit, and looks like some more are on the way. Really nice tree. I got this one really because of the size of the leaves, not so much the fruit. I heard the fruit's okay, but I got it really more for looks. And you can see this leaf here. I mean, it's pretty sad. It's what happens, you know, no irrigation, and when we go into droughts, you got to be able to handle this. But they'll come right back once we get a little bit of rain, and I believe the forecast shows we might have some rain coming here very soon. I think today is Sunday, so hopefully tomorrow or Tuesday, I think they were calling for rain. And this is a seedling that had some frost damage, and I didn't do anything to it. I said, well, we're gonna see if you survive that, and sure enough, look, it's pushing out some new growth. The leaves don't look the greatest, but we'll see what happens. This is a seedling seedling from Carry, and this was not last season, but the one before that. Back here we have the Diamond Mango, and Diamond had a bunch of fruit on there, but unfortunately powdery mildew got to this one. It flowered late. This one I believe was the last one to flower, and powdery mildew got a hold of it, and it dropped pretty much all of them. It's only holding on to a couple fruit right now. So we'll take it. I mean, it's doing better than some of the other ones. Here's a lemon Cattleya guava. Starting to put out some flowers, but some are starting to dry up because of the drought. And when you see the yellow like that, they're drying out. That flower is not going to produce a fruit. But we still have quite a few green ones. So we'll try to get this one some water today. Meanwhile, kumquat that was in the ground, now it's in a pot. I haven't really figured out what to do with the trees that I pulled out of the ground and put in a pot, because greenhouse is getting a storage shed here. So no more greenhouse. So I got to figure something out with potted trees. There's a sugar apple that was also in the ground. Got to find a permanent home for that. This is it's in the top 3 of my mangoes, and I'm going back and forth. Is it number 1? And this is orange sherbet. Flavor wise, orange sherbet to me has been number 1, but on the growth side is where to me it lacks. It wants to grow more than produce. Last year it did have a nice amount of fruit, and it ended up dropping them halfway. So hasn't been a really good productive tree here. But flavor wise, man, like no other. I'll come around here and look at, here we have, there's a Jamaican cherry, also known as strawberry tree, full of flowers and small fruit. We have another miracle fruit looking much better here, and that's because it's crowded here, and these guys offer protection from the sun, so the soil is not as dry in this area as it's, in full sun. But that one's looking better, but no flowers on the miracle fruit yet. Here's a couple coconuts. This is green Malayan here, and then behind that there's a Fiji. You can see the yellow stem. That's a Fiji coconut. Both survived our past winters, and very surprising, they did very well. I thought they were gonna die, but so far I think I've had them for about 3 years, a little over 3 years now. So they're doing really good. There's a small banana there. That's a red banana, not doing so good. So some things are definitely showing signs of drought stress. See here, this is ginger, spiral ginger. That's what it's called. Not doing too good. We'll back up here, and this is ruby red grapefruit. Holding on to a cup of fruit, doing very well. Here we have Glen mango. So let's talk a little bit about the mangoes. So a few of my mango trees were doing really well. They had a bunch of fruit on them. Like going back to that diamond mango was loaded with tiny mangoes. And this is ice cream mango. You can tell by the beautiful leaves of ice cream. Out of all the varieties, this is the only one that has the small, skinny leaves. So this is ice cream. But yeah, so a few of these varieties were loaded. And as we're getting closer to the season, a lot of the mangoes are falling due to, we had a late powdery mildew. We ended up getting cold a few weeks ago, and then that's what really got the powdery mildew going for these trees, because it wasn't showing up when they first started to flower. It was towards like the end of these trees flowering when it came back. There's some more flowers here. This one's the only one that's actually flowering again. I haven't seen any flowers on the other varieties. So ice cream's flowering again. So ice cream's holding on to a few. Coconut cream is one of the ones that there was at least 10 mangoes on here, and now I believe we're only holding on to this one there. And there was another one, but that one's gone. See, oh no, here it is. There's one right there. So the deal here is these mango trees are dropping daily. They're dropping fruit. You know, it's that old don't count your chickens before they hatch type of thing here. So I just walk by, look at them, and I'm like, oh, there's 5, there's whatever. But I know that come, you know, as we get closer to the season, that's not going to be an accurate number. But this is Cary mango, and it's got some nice ones. They're just hiding. Here's a nice size one there. On here. So Cary is on the list for getting top work, and I think I'm already set on top working some of it, not the whole thing, to M4 mango. Let's take a look at this peach tree. This is my most productive peach tree, and this is Tropic Beauty. Check out all the peaches on this one here. We do have some yellowing on the leaves. Because, you know, this is again another one that's struggling. It's holding on to so many fruit and not enough water. You know, these trees, they do fine. You know, if a week without water, 2 weeks. But once you start getting into like that 3rd, 4th, like, you know, a whole month without rain, and they're holding on to fruit, you will see some signs. I have not lost a tree to drought, so that's in the ground. Let me take that back. So I have lost a tree that was in a pot that I didn't water, but in the ground I have not lost a tree due to drought. But when they're holding fruit, it's definitely taking a lot of energy out of them. This is a coffee, doing very well, but no flowers on the coffee yet. And then this is Pitanga tuba, and we got some fruit on Pitanga tuba. Check that out. So Pitanga tuba is setting some fruit. There were some more flowers. I gotta find them here, but yeah, there's some more there. So it looks like we'll get a handful of Pitanga tuba. We had some last season, and they were pretty good. Sour, but good. Let's go down Banana Alley, and then we'll end up in Jabo Land. Bananas are just starting to come back. I made a video after the freeze, and they were completely brown, and now they're slowly coming back. So we'll head over to Jabo Land, and these are some fruit trees that really need water daily, and I don't provide that to them. But even with that, I mean, this is Sabra, known to have some browning, looking really good. And this is the red hybrid. Check that out. But this area has so much ground cover that's why this does not dry out as fast as the areas that are more open, that are, you know, I drive the lawnmower on them, so there's not much ground cover. But look at how good this red hybrid looks, and it was holding on to some fruit. Let's see. Oh yep, let's get in here. We got some fruit. There we go. So there's some fruit, and yeah, it's holding on to a few fruit. So no more flowers. I think it's already flowered out, so now we're just setting some fruit. So this is the red hybrid, doing very well. And then the Sabra, and then there's a new addition there. Now that one I put in, and I haven't watered it, but that one got damaged from the cold, because I just put it in, so I think it was shocked from the transplant, and then we got those cold temperatures, so that's what we're looking at. But if you go closer to it, you'll see the new growth looks very well. So this will come right back. You know, jabos, they want their water, but they're not super finicky like some other fruit trees. They may look bad, but they'll still produce and they'll still grow. Some trees, if they don't get what they need, you're not going to get any fruit from them, and they're going to look very bad. So at least with the jabos, I've noticed they'll still give you some fruit. They just won't look as good as they can get if you give them everything they need, which is very hard when it comes to jabo. They require a nice acidic soil, and they like to stay moist. And if you don't have irrigation, or you're not in an area where your soil is high in acidity, and it's very hard to get those jabos to look really nice in the ground. At least you can probably put them in the pot. You can manage the acidity level of the soil a lot better, so in the pot you can definitely get them to look nice and green and real lush, a lot of leaves. But once you put them in the ground, I found that to be extremely hard to manage them, to have them look perfect. So off of the jabo, this is a Molex Sapodilla, and this one was transplanted. I had this one out in another spot, more open area, and I moved it. It did very well. I mean, no signs of stress, and I believe it should be starting to flower here very soon. So Sapodilla, you got some more Red Lady papayas back there. Got a bunch of more bananas that I chopped back during the hurricane, so they're coming back. But the bananas had a rough season last season, and we'll talk about the bananas here for a second. My season's very short when it comes to bananas versus folks down south or in the islands or something like that. They can get bananas year round. Here in Zone 9B West Florida, we get the cold and we get hurricanes, right? Like everyone else in Florida. But the cold is what really sets us back with the bananas. So right now I would love all my bananas to be flowering right now, but that's not the case. There's actually no, out of probably got over 100 bananas, and none of them are flowering right now. So that means that we're going to get flowers later in the season. But then what happens if we get too late, and then we end up in a situation where we get cold, it'll slow the production down, and those bananas take a long time to ripen. And then some racks will lose, because by that time, when they're nice and full, we get the hurricanes that come, and then the hurricanes take them down. And then we get super cold, and then they don't grow at all. So that's been my deal with the bananas. So it's kind of, it is what it is, right? Well, what can you do? Just put a bunch and just hope some flower earlier, and then the ones that don't, then cut them back in the winter. This is a white sapote, and the variety is called Subel. This one got damaged in a hurricane. A branch fell on top of it and broke the top, so it's slowly bouncing back. Let me know in the comments if you heard this. I hear that they the first few years they're very slow growers, and then after that they take off. So because this one has been growing extremely slow, so I'm hoping maybe next year to start to take off. I see the ginger starting to come back. Here we go. We got some, this is shampoo ginger starting to pop back up. We'll back up here. This is a strawberry guava, and it's almost flowering time. The buds are just about getting ready to open up. And this one, this is also a Cattleya guava. And this one here looks much better than the lemon that I have, because the lemon gets a lot more sun. This one has protection from the cypress trees, so this one looks much better. Really nice tasting fruit. Out of all the guavas, the strawberry Cattleya guava to me tastes the best. Small, it's got a lot of seeds, but they're not as hard as the bigger guavas, and they just have a different flavor profile. But out of the guava family, this one has been the best tasting for me. This is sweet tart mango. Just pushed out some new growth. No flowers this season. And this one also didn't flower last season, or it didn't push out new growth either. So good to see it's doing something now. I've had this tree for about 3 years now. So I think when I moved it, I think I kind of slowed the growth down. But it's in its permanent spot now, so I should expect to see some mangoes here very soon. Over here, not gonna walk all the way back there, but looks like we got some new growth on the achacha. Achacha looks nice and healthy. Here's an area that we made a serious change, and we're gonna talk about this real quick. This is where breadfruit used to be at, and I know a lot of people ask me what happened to breadfruit. I'm gonna give you a quick story, tell you exactly what happened. We had the hurricanes. Hurricane stressed that tree out. It started dropping its leaves. Right after the hurricane, we had those long cold temperatures. During that time, all the leaves dropped. I didn't create any sort of structure for it. So the leaves fell. It was completely exposed, and it did get a serious dieback. So what I did, I went ahead and just, after I waited like a month to see if it was gonna, grow back, it didn't. And around that time, we're doing construction with the house. So we had a window here, and then we put the French doors. We noticed that this tree here, which is a black gold jackfruit, was going to, if we leave it there, was going to be in the way of the view of the lake. So I had to make the decision, leave the breadfruit here that wasn't doing anything, or just quickly cut my losses and put the jackfruit here because it was doing much better. So that's what I did. Now, I'm not going to say the breadfruit is dead. I cut it all the way back to the stump, and I checked it a few weeks ago, like 2-3 weeks ago, and it was still green. I have not checked it. I don't know. I don't know what's the stage of it right now, but who knows? I'm just going to leave it at that, and then if you may see a video of a leaf popping up, I might, but as of right now, I think it's a goner. So anyway, sorry for that long story. That is what it is for those of you who are asking. And one thing real quick I'll say on this is, if it wasn't for the hurricane, I think we would still have that breadfruit. So I don't want to say, because the whole thing was, can I grow breadfruit in this zone? And I believe in an area like where the coconuts are at, I believe with the cold temperatures we had this past winter, I think it would have survived. If I would have had it back here, and the stress from the hurricane, if that would have not happened, I think we would have still had it. So what I think is, I think you can definitely grow breadfruit in Florida. A lot of people say you can't. There's information online saying that they don't take the 40s. I've showed in the last couple years that they can definitely take the 40s. And now, maybe north of me, no, that then you're getting into a different zone. What I'm saying is, they don't grow it that much in like places like Miami. And I think it's something that's worth growing. It produces a lot of food, and I just don't see it as much as I think it should. We should see it because of how much food it can produce. So for my area, it's it's hit or miss. But for down south, where they don't get into the 20s, or even the really low 30s on a regular, like every year, I think it's something that you can grow. So that's the end of that one there. Here we have a champagne loquat. I got 2 fruit off of this one. The problem I'm having with loquat is they're flowering when we're at the coldest time of the year for us. So the flowers are getting damaged. I just gotta wait till this one gets a lot bigger, and then it'll have some warm spots. It'll protect itself. It'll protect its flowers from getting damaged from the cold, and then we'll get a lot more fruit. So I got 4 varieties of loquat: Bradenton, Christmas, and I can't remember the other one. This is a Meyer lemon. It's got a ton of little fruit. Meyer lemon doesn't look good, but it's going to produce for you. This is my oldest fruit tree, and it's been to 3 properties now. Last year it didn't produce that much. I think we only got 1, but this year it looks like it's going to make up for it. Tango. This is another citrus tree. It's a mix between a tangelo and a tangerine. Looks really nice and healthy. And it did set some fruit, but they fell because I moved. This was where the Simmons avocado was at, and I put it in a pot. Got to figure out what to do with these potted trees. I'm not sure. I might have to put them back in the ground somewhere. Let's take a look at this Pickering mango. This one had some frost damage, but it's still holding on to about four good ones. This one, I don't know what's good. This one might be on its way out, but those look promising. But had a bigger canopy, and the frost came. If you watch my frost damage video, this was all black from the frost, so this one got affected. But it's been through some hardcore winters. So this one was one of the ones that survived the high 20s like 3 years ago or something like that. So it's been through it, and it's still here. Simmons avocado. It's got some yellowing because the other day the root ball was completely exposed. We had an animal come in the property and just tear this whole thing up. So I just put the mulch back, and I think it'll bounce back. Let's talk about avocados for a second. This is a winter Mexican, and this tree had a few avocados on there, but it dropped them, and I'm 90% sure it's because we haven't had any rains. They say, I did some research on avocados, and they really like water, especially if they hold in fruit. They don't like to be soaking wet, but they do like to have consistent watering until they get very large. Once they tap into water, they're pretty much good. But a tree this size, avocados are going to shed a lot of fruit. So a tree this size is not going to produce that many fruit. So the ones that it does produce, chances are a lot of it's going to drop, and especially if I'm not watering these trees. So yeah, water's a big deal, and I knew that, when I started getting into these fruit trees, that if I didn't put irrigation here, I knew that my fruit production is not going to be as good as if I had irrigation. But with time, that changes. So I'm still not going to get irrigation. These trees are just going to have to get bigger, and then they'll tap into the water system, and they'll produce. So it's just going to take a little bit more time. This is a Grumi Chama cherry, and you can see the cherries are starting to form. This one did produce for us last year, so it's been pretty steady. Here we have Venus mango, and this one here's a perfect example why you can't count your chickens before they hatch. This tree had about 20 something fruit on it, and now we're down to probably less than 10. So that's how it goes. But it doesn't look like it's showing too much signs of drought stress. I think it's the leaves look pretty good. So maybe because this area here does slope down a little bit lower, so we do get a lot of humidity in the morning, so some of that moisture I'm sure it's going down to the mangoes. So this is Venus, and then while we're next to Venus, let's take a look at our Carry seedling project. This one's still holding on to some fruit. Let me know in the comments, these fruits got such a weird shape. Let me know what you think they are. Like I don't know, I'll tell you the parents, the potential parents, because at that time I only had, I think, 4 fruit trees, 4 mangoes flowering. So we had, next to this one was a dwarf Hawaiian, fruit punch, Namduk Mai, which I don't have anymore, but Namduk Mai was around, and ice cream. Those were the 4 that were flowering at the same time as this. And probably the closest mango tree around me that I'm guarantee of is miles away, like probably like 5 miles away from here, if that, maybe more. So it's like in my area there's not many mango trees, so we'll see. I have a couple varieties of passion fruit. I have the sweet sunrise and the purple possum. The purple possum is definitely a more productive one out of the 2. We'll end this one off right here at Sugarloaf Mango. I didn't get all the trees in this video, but this is a good way to end it. Sugarloaf doing very well. It had a lot more, but it's slowly dropping some of them as we go. So that's it for this tour, and we'll update you very soon. Once we get closer to mango season, we'll have a better picture of what we may have to eat. So stay tuned for that one. Let me know how everything's going in your garden. I'll see you on the next one.